So today I'm going to be doing a makeup look using the ColourPop Gimme Butterflies palette. This palette has really pretty soft pink colors, and then it has some glitters and some shimmers in here. I thought today would be the perfect day to do kind of like a Valentine's Day inspired makeup look, since Valentine's Day is like 2 days away and I know a lot of people celebrate Valentine's Day. I'll be doing like an affordable look so that anybody can recreate if you are planning on celebrating Valentine's Day, or if you just want a cute pink look for a date night. I've already primed my lids and I filled in my brows a little bit. I meant to do that on camera, but then I looked horrible, so I had to fix myself up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in on the eyeshadow since my lids are ready. What I did use for my eyelids was the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in Light Sand. This is the matte version, or the original version. I didn't set my concealer because the matte version pretty much sets itself, so it doesn't really need extra product. And then for my brows, I use the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and this one is in deep brown. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. And the brushes that I'm gonna be using are also affordable. So is the sponge. First brush that I'm going to be using is an Essence brush. It's an eye blender brush. All of their brushes are like less than $5 at Ulta. So definitely check them out. Of the first color I'm going to go in with the color Woke. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this fluffy brush to blend it into my crease. This color is pretty pigmented and it's pretty pink. So since I kind of want to tone it down a little bit, like I don't want to use really intense pink colors since I am going for more of a soft glam, I'm going to go ahead and blend it in with the Labyrinth color right here. It's more of a muted pink, it's kind of brownish. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix both of these colors. And I'm just going to bring the color down a little bit, kind of like in a V formation, so that I can extend my eye look. I'm not doing anything super dramatic because I do want this to still be a pretty easy look to recreate. I know a lot of people don't necessarily wear makeup, but if you want to go a little bit extra for yourself or for your husband or your boyfriend or whoever, and I'm just going to be doing the same thing to the other side. And this is the highest that I like to bring up my shadow. I don't like to bring it all the way up, but I do like to bring it up a little bit. I kind of want to make my eyes look a little bit more open and a little bigger. So this is a pretty good trick if your eyes are hooded or if your eyes are smaller. And just bring up the crease shade so that it kind of opens them up a little bit. I'm just using windshield wiper motions and then kind of circular motions once I get to the outer V. So that took like 2 seconds. I know for me it doesn't take that long because I've been practicing, but really if you have the right tools, it's a pretty simple step to do. All you're doing is just kind of diffusing color into your crease, and a big fluffy brush helps with that. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so once I feel like I have the desired amount of shadow on my crease, I'm gonna go in with a darker shade, and for that I'm gonna go in with Making Moves. So I'm gonna dab into that one and then dab into this color right here called Blooming. I know this is not necessarily a completely matte shade. It has a little bit of a glitter in there, but I don't really mind since I will be using glitter later on. But I'm just gonna take both those colors and then just kind of pack them into the outer V. And I'm using a flat brush. This is a really cute brush. It has like little pink glitters and hearts in here, so I thought it'd be very appropriate for the occasion. This brush I actually got at a very affordable price at Marshall's, and I think the brand was Kenzie. They're pretty soft brushes and they're pretty unaffordable. They're pretty affordable, so if you are looking for some new brushes, or if you are new with makeup and need a little bit of guidance, go ahead and hit up Marshall's or TJ Maxx because they have really good brushes. And all I'm doing is just kind of patting into both of them and then tapping off a little bit. And then I'm not swiping or moving my brush in this kind of way like I did with my crease. All I'm doing is just kind of stamping the color into my outer V. All that's doing is just creating a little bit of depth. Look at me talking as if I know what I'm doing. And then I'm just gonna go back in with that little fluffy brush and then kind of blend it into the crease a little bit. And as you can see, I'm basically keeping that darker shade on the outside of my eye. I'm not bringing it into the inner part of my lid because I don't want to make my whole lid look dark. I just want to make the outer part look dark so that it doesn't create like a very muddy look. And then I like to kind of step back and look at myself in the mirror just to make sure that it looks good on both sides. Once I feel like my crease and outer V shades are looking okay, well, at least to my standards, I'm gonna go in with a shimmer color. And I think for this look, instead of doing a shimmer, I'm gonna do a glitter called Winged. So I'm just gonna be very careful when applying this, and I am using my fingers. I find that it's the easiest way to apply shitter. It's the easiest way to apply glitters and shimmers. And I'm just gonna be tapping it into my lid, being really careful not to accidentally put it in my eyeball. It does say on the actual packaging, it says that you're not supposed to be applying pressed glitters to the eye area, which is pretty weird because this is an eyeshadow palette meant for your eye. But I think they just say that to kind of cover their own butts in case you do end up getting it in your eye and then you try to sue them. Once I feel like the glitter looks okay, I do go back in with my brush and very lightly go over the crease again to kind of just take off any glitter that decided to go all up into my eyebrow. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face, and I'm using another e.l.f. product. This is the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I've used the Poreless Putty Primer in the past, and I think it's good. I think it does fill in my pores pretty well. My makeup does go on pretty smooth on top, but it does not make my makeup last because my oils still seep through. So I've picked up the matte version of it, and I feel like it does help a little bit, but it doesn't like mattify me 100%. I still have an oily T-zone. That's just me and how it works with my skin. It could work for you though. And I mostly concentrate this on my T-zone. I don't really bring it anywhere else unless I have large pores like in this area right here. Okay, so while I let that kind of sink in and do its job a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and finish my eyes. Technically, I could just leave this look right here and it would look pretty with some mascara, or if you're comfortable using false lashes, then some lashes would make this look really pretty. But personally, I like to put a little bit of eyeliner to kind of blend my false lashes a little bit, and also just to make my eyes look slightly bigger, and do a little baby wing. This is another affordable product. This is the Essence Super Precise Eyeliner. It says it's long lasting and waterproof. I don't think it's waterproof, but it is pretty long lasting. I mean, it stays on until I decide to take it off. But yeah, I don't really see it being waterproof. Go ahead and leave my eyeliner how it is, because if I try to mess with it, I'm gonna be here for like 3 hours. A couple options for you. You can either use the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation, which is one of my favorite drugstore foundations. I recommend using the L'Oreal one if you're gonna be using the makeup for a very long date, like if you're planning on celebrating the entire day. But if you're only going out for like a couple of hours, then the e.l.f. one is pretty good. It stays on pretty well, and you can build it up to full coverage, and it's not necessarily super matte, but it's also not like super dewy either, so it's kind of like a good in between. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this one, and I am running out of both. I kind of need to go makeup shopping. Also, for people that don't necessarily like using foundation, you don't really have to use foundation. If you have a good concealer, you can pretty much spot conceal like your problem areas, like any redness, any dark circles, or any blemishes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use that same e.l.f. Camo Concealer to conceal. And like I mentioned, if you don't feel comfortable wearing foundation, or if you just can't find a good foundation, concealer is still a good option because it pretty much does what foundation does, but better. So I like to brighten up my face. I like to put it down the center of my face because that is my problem area. I have a lot of redness and blemishes and darkness. This concealer does dry fast, so I like to use it in sections. Oh, and I'm using my e.l.f. sponge. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is pretty affordable as well. I think it's $5 now. It used to be $4, but they're slowly raising their prices. I use this underneath my eyes and bring it down a little bit on the sides of my nose. And just anywhere else that I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, like on my neck right here. I had some scarring. Go ahead and blend out the areas that you barely put any concealer on first because you don't want it to accidentally cake on there. And all I'm doing is just patting in the product. I'm not swiping it away because I want to maintain that full coverage. Blend up around the eye to kind of give yourself a facelift. I'm sorry if I keep like hunching over, it's just because my mirror is like low, but I should be up here, not down here. If you hear voices in the background, don't mind them, they're just my little friends. Just kidding, it's other people that live here, or the TV. If you're in the house and you can hear me talking to myself, this is why. Before I go in and set my face, I like to go back in and make sure that there's no lines and everything is well blended. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I just like to press it on to the area that gets the oiliest. By doing this technique, it kind of takes away all of the cakiness. So I only set on my forehead, and then I also set this area right here. Then I set the sides of my nose and my nose. And then I go in with a brush and lightly set underneath my eye. Again, because I use that matte concealer, it kind of already set itself, but just in case, I like to brighten it up a little bit more. Moving on to bronzer, I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I'm going to be using a fluffy brush. I don't remember where I got this from. I probably got it from TJ Maxx. So I don't want to create like a super harsh contour. I just want to add a little bit of color to my face because my face has a really bad white cast at the moment and I'm not trying to look like a ghost. So all I'm doing is just kind of pinching my brush like this. And I'm just going to use it to add a little bit of color to my cheeks. But I'm only adding it to the area right here. So you can kind of see that it's not a super harsh contour or a super harsh dark line. Personally, I don't really like that look. Like, it should just look like I'm a little bit more tan in certain areas. And you can kind of see the difference between this side that has nothing on it and this side that has a little bit of color. And I'm even just following that little line that automatically happens when you smile. You can add as little or as much color that you want into your face. It's really personal preference, but that's pretty much what I do. And then I do add it on the perimeters of my face, which is my forehead, and then on my jawbone. So next I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush. This is the Morphe brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose. You don't have to contour your nose, you can do whatever you want, but I like to do it because I like when my nose is a little bit more defined. And you can pretty much see what I'm doing. It's not anything like super complicated. I'm just creating two lines on the sides of my nose and then one on the tip of my nose. I like to go back in with the same brush that I used for the rest of my face, kind of blend it out so that it doesn't look so harsh. It kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. Somewhere around this point, I like to add glue to my lashes so that it kind of gives it a little bit of time to get tacky. For my lashes, I'm using the Ardell Wispies. I'm not doing a dramatic lash today. Since my look is a little bit more pinky, I'm gonna go in with this blush right here. This is the Milani Luminoso, and I'm gonna be using a Wet n Wild brush, and I'm just gonna tap it in. And you can add as little or as much blush as you want. Blush tends to fade pretty quickly, so I tend to add a little bit more than usual. And I like to add my blush going up like that, kind of like how I added my bronzer, because it kind of makes my face shape look better. It doesn't make it look as round as it probably is. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild highlight in Blossom Glow, and I'm going to be using this cute little brush. And I like to smile and kind of create a little circle on my cheekbone, or on the highest part of my cheek right here, and then blend it up. And then a little bit on the nose and on my chin. Sometimes I like to put it up here too. I'm gonna take the same highlight and add it to my brow bone. I'm just using my finger, obviously. I'm gonna go ahead and set my brows. I'm using the e.l.f. brow mascara it's in neutral brown. Okay, so before I put my lashes on, I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. I like to do the under your natural lash line method, which is putting them underneath your lashes versus on top. So I'm almost done with the makeup look. All I did was added my lashes, of course, and then I did add a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes, and I did put a nude liner on my waterline, the NYX Wander pencil. You go ahead and move on to my lips, and I'm gonna be using a Profusion matte lip liner in Natural. It's kind of a pinky color, and all I'm going to be doing is kind of overlining my lips a little bit, because I want my lips to be pouty and kissable because it's date night. And do you see the difference between the two? So once I create the desired shape and volume of my lips, I'm gonna go ahead and use a Ultra Satin Lip from ColourPop. This is their Aquarius lip color. So I'm personally gonna leave my lip color here. I like a matte lip color because it's easier to maintain throughout the night. But if you wanted to, you could always add a little bit of a gloss on top. But personally, I feel like this look is perfect on its own. So that is going to be everything for today's video. Hopefully I explained this well enough so that anyone that's out there that wants to try to do their makeup for Valentine's Day or for a date night, but is not necessarily comfortable doing a lot of steps, you don't have to do every single step that I did today. You can skip a couple if you want to. But it's pretty much what I do on a regular basis, and it doesn't really take me that long, again because I have practice. Yeah, it's pretty simple and easy to create. I used all affordable products, so if you want to go ahead and give it a try, then why not? It's makeup. You can always wipe it off at the end of the day if you look like a clown. That's gonna be everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.